Greetings of the day, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. This webinar aims to support teachers in integrating social emotional learning into regular classroom practices for holistic student development. Now, developing social and emotional competencies is essential for students' well being. So, today's session explores practical classroom based strategies to achieve this. Now, let's understand why social emotional skills. Now, critical for holistic development as per NEP 2020 emphasis. Now, NEP 2020 highlights that the education must develop the head, heart, and hands social emotional skills help children to understand themselves, to manage emotions, and interact positively with others, along with academic learning. If I give you an example here, a child who feels anxious before a test is being taught deep breathing and a positive self-talk. So as a result, child feels calmer and performs better. This shows learning beyond textbook. Number two, if we talk about CBSE encourages life skills, well-being, and emotional intelligence. So CBSE promotes the life skill education, student well-being, and positive school climate through core scholastic areas and classroom practices. For example, if we say during the group work, the teacher assigns the role, maybe a leader, timekeeper, reporter, students learn cooperation, respect for others' opinion, and responsibility. So, key life skills encouraged by CBSE. Number three, it helps students to manage emotions, relationship, and decision making. Now, students with strong SES can regulate emotions, resolve conflicts, and make thoughtful choices. For example, two students argue over the classroom material. So instead of punishment, teacher guides them to express feelings, listen to each other, and agree on sharing. Now, this builds emotional control and responsible decision making. So, the final key message for this slide, I would say, when students feel emotionally safe and socially confident, learning becomes more meaningful and effective. Let's see key social emotional skills. Now, number one, it will be self awareness, where it means the ability to recognize one's own emotion strength and areas for improvement. Supposingly, during this morning circle time, the teacher asks students to choose an emotions card like happy, sad, angry, or excited and share why they feel that way. So, students learn to identify and name their emotions. Number two, self management. Now, here it means the ability to control impulses, manage stress, and respond calmly in challenging situations. For example, if we say before a test or after recess, the teacher practices 2 minutes breathing or a stretching exercises with the class. So students learn to calm themselves and focus instead of reacting impulsively. Number three, social awareness. It means understanding others' feeling, showing empathy, and respecting diversity. For example, after reading a story, teacher may ask, "How do you think the character felt?" Or teacher may ask, "What would you do if you were in their place?" So here students learn empathy and perspective taking. Number four, we talk about relationship skills. It means here the ability to build positive relationship through communication, teamwork, and conflict resolution. Now, for class group activities, teacher assigns roles like leader, helper, recorder. So when conflicts arise, students are guided to listen without interrupting. Students are guided to express feelings using "I feel," like such statements. So student practice collaboration and respectful communication. Number five, we talk about responsible decision making. Now, here it means making thoughtful, ethical choices by considering consequences. For example, a student finds a lost pencil box. So, teacher discussion will be the in options like keep it, Number two, inform the teacher. Number three, return it to the owner. So here students reflect on the right choices and consequences, building ethical thinking. Let's see classroom activities to build social emotional skills. Number one is circle time or morning meetings. Now here the main purpose is to help students to express feelings, build trust and develop self-awareness. Now how to do it? You can begin your day with 5 to 10 minutes circle time or ask simple prompts like how are you feeling today? What made you happy or worried? So for example, if a child shares feeling nervous about a presentation, so teacher and peers respond with encouragement. So where it builds emotional expression, empathy and classroom bonding. Number two, if we take out the next activity, role plays and skit. Now, here the main purpose is to allow students to practice empathy, communication, and conflict resolution in a safe setting. How we can do it? Now, you can easily create a real life scenarios like sharing material, resolving disagreements, or let students act out the situation and a possible situations or solutions. For example, two students role play a disagreement over turn taking. So class suggests respectful solutions. So here it develops problem solving and relationship skills. Number three, collaborative projects. Now here the main purpose for collaborative project is to encourages teamwork, communication, leadership and responsibility. How we can do it? You can easily assign group tasks with clear roles. You can encourage discussions and joint discussion making. For example, students work together to create a poster or model. They learn to listen, they learn to cooperate and manage conflicts. So in short, it strengthens the teamwork and communication. Number four activity will be mindfulness and relaxation exercises. Now here the main purpose will be it helps the students to manage the stress, improve focus and regulate emotions. Now, how we can perform it? Practice deep breathing, stretching, or guided imaginary, or use these techniques after breaks or before assessment. For example, before a test or teacher leads a short breathing exercise. So students feel calmer and more focused. So it builds self-management and emotional regulation. Number five activity will be storytelling and reflection. Now here the purpose is to develop empathy, moral reasoning, and perspective taking. How to do it? Now you can easily ask student to read stories with emotional and moral themes. So ask reflective questions like why did the character act this way? Or what would you have done? So after a story about honesty or students discuss right and wrong choices, it encourages ethical thinking and social awareness. So for this slide, I would say in conclude, every activity in the classroom can become an opportunity to nurture social emotional skills. Let's see one more activity. We say it about feeling chart. Now here the activity, our main objective is to help students to identify, name and express their emotions and to develop empathy towards the others. So materials will be emoji cards, emotion chart displays in the class, or you can have colored cards, each color representing each emotion, or the chart paper or smartboard will be the optional. So process will be now how to conduct the activity. You can have a step one, choose a feeling. So at the start of a day, ask student to select an emoji or colored card that best shows how they are feeling that time. For example, a student picks a blue card to show they feel sad. Then step number two will be share. Now it is the optional part, share with a partner or you can have a group sharing. So students share these feelings with a partner or in a small group. So teacher will prompt here, would you like to tell us why you feel this way? Then again, step number three, guided discussion by teacher. Now, here teacher acknowledges feelings and guides students to think about coping strategies. So, teacher's question will be, what can we do when we feel angry or sad? Or how can we help a friend who feels upset? So, the classroom example will set here. A student shares feeling nervous about a test, and the teacher suggests that deep breathing and positive self talk, while classmates suggest encouraging words. Yes, come on, you can do it. Like that. So the final skill developed will be, it will be a self-awareness, social awareness, and emotional regulation. So for this activity, I would say to conclude this part, there will be no judgment or corrections of feeling. Keep sharing voluntary and use age-appropriate emotion words. Let's see one more activity, role play for conflict resolution. Now, here our main objective will be to help students handle the classroom conflicts in a positive and respectful manner while developing empathy and problem solving skills. So, the main scenario will be two students wants to use the same classroom resource, for example, a book or art material, or you can say tablet or a sports equipment. So, how to process it now, this activity? Number one, act out the conflict. Select two students to role play the situation. For example, student A wants the color pencil and student B wants to use them at the same time. So the step number two will be pause and reflect. How pause and reflect? Stop the role play and ask the class, how are both students feeling? Why did the conflict happen? So this helps students to identify emotions and viewpoints. Number three comes to discuss alternative solution. So invite the student to suggest peaceful solution. So the possible student's response will be, you can use your pencil color by taking turns, or you can use your pencil color sharing the resources, setting a time limit so that everyone, both of them can use the pencil color, finding another material. Then comes to step number four, teacher reinforcement. Now, when it comes to teacher reinforcement, teacher highlights the key values just to listen to others, respect feelings, finding a fair solution. So the role play is repeated using a positive solution. Now the skill developed is relationship skills, responsible decision making, and empathy. Next activity, we take another example, art, collaborative art or project. So our main objective for collaborative art or project means to promote teamwork, communication and shared responsibility among students while completing a common task. Supposingly activity is your group activity or a group work that is coming to art integration and the science or social science project. So how to process this? Number one step will be form groups or assigned roles. Supposingly designer who plans layout or visuals. Divide the students into small groups and assign clear roles such as designer who plans the visuals, researcher who collects the information or ideas, presenter who shares the group work. So this ensures the participation and accountability. Step number two will be planning together. Now, when they plan together, students discuss what they will create, how tasks will be divided, and what will be the time management. So, where the teacher's roles come, teacher will guide, teacher will observe and support without taking control. So, the final next step will be to execute the project. Now, when to execute the project, students work together to create the mural and complete the project. For example, while making a group mural on a safe environment, students negotiate space, colors, and ideas respectfully. Then comes to this step, presentation. Now, each group present their work to the class. So, teacher prompt will be, now explain how each member contributed to the project. So here the very important step will come, that is reflection. So conduct a short reflection discussion, which is very important. Number one question you can ask, how did the teamwork help you? What challenges did you face? How did you resolve the differences? For example, a student shares that listening to others helped to complete the task faster. Another shares how disagreements were resolved by voting. So the final skill developed in this activity, that is collaboration, problem solving, self-management, and communication. Next is integrating SES into daily routines. Number one is morning check-ins and journaling. Now, the main purpose is to start the day by helping students recognize and express their emotions. How you can do it? Students write in a journal or share one word or emoji describing how they feel. Or teacher ask reflection prompts like, what are you looking forward today? What might be challenging today? So students write they are nervous about a presentation, or the teacher validates their feeling and offers a coping strategy like deep breathing, etc. So here the skill will be developed. Number one will be self-awareness, emotional regulation. Number two is classroom jobs and responsibilities, where the main purpose is to teach accountability, leadership, and teamwork. Now, how can we perform it? Assign daily or weekly responsibilities like line monitors, classroom organizer, technology helper, or you can rotate the roles so every student experiences different responsibilities. For example, a student in charge of disturbing art material. So it learns the time management and responsibility while also collaborating with peers. So the skill will develop self-management, collaboration, as well as responsibility. Number three is peer feedback sessions. Now here, peer feedback session, the main purpose is to encourage constructive communication, empathy, and social awareness. How we can perform it? During or after a group activity, students give positive and constructive feedback to peers. So teacher models respectful language. For example, I liked how you explained. Wow, next time you could try. These kind of respectful language. For example, after a group presentation, peers share the appreciation for teamwork and suggest improvement in delivery. So the key skill will develop here, relationship skills, empathy, and communication. Number four is reflection circles, end of the day discussion. Now, main purpose here helps students to process experiencing emotions and learning. So how we can do it? Gather students in a circle at the end of the day and ask reflective questions. What went well today? What could you do differently tomorrow? Or did you help or support someone else? For example, a student shares that they helped a peer struggling with homework and prompting a discussion on kindness and cooperation. So the skill will be developed here, self-awareness, social awareness, responsible decision making. Next is assessment and feedback. Now, when we talk about assessment and feedback for SES, assessing social emotional skills is different from academic assessment. It focuses on observing behaviors, reflections, and interactions rather than right or wrong answers. So, number one will be observation and anecdotal records. The main purpose will be track students' behavior, interaction, and emotional responsibilities in real time. So teacher notes the significant observations during the activities or group work or free play. So use a simple checklist for behaviors like sharing, expressing feelings, or resolving conflicts. For example, during a group activity, a student patiently listens to the peers before giving their ideas. So teacher notes here shows empathy and good listening skills. For example, if we say for this activity or assessment, the skill developed will be relationship skills, social awareness, and self-management. Number two is self-assessment journals. Now, here the main purpose is to encourage students to reflect on their own feelings, behaviors, and progress. Now, how we can do it? Provide the prompts like, oh, today I felt proud of it. Or you can say, I handled a challenge by, or you can say, next time I can try. Like this. A student's write, I stayed calm even when I disagreed with my partner in the project. So the skill developed here, self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision making. Next is peer feedback. Now here the main purpose to develop communication, empathy, and constructive thinking. So how we can do? After collaborating activities, students share observations about peers' contribution. So encourage respectful and positive language like, oh, I liked how you did it. Oh, next time you could do it in this way. For example, in group presentation, a peer says, you explained your part clearly and helped the team stay on track. So skill developed here, relationship skill, social awareness, and collaboration. Number four is portfolios of collaborative work. Now, the purpose to track the growth in teamwork, problem solving, and creativity over the time. So, collect the samples of group projects, role plays, morals, or reflective notes. Include teacher comments highlighting SES growth. For example, a portfolio includes a science project, reflection journal entries, and peer feedback showing consistent teamwork and problem solving skills. So, the skill developed here collaboration, responsible decision making, and self management. So, the focus on progress, effort, and skill development, not just the outcome. Next is teachers' role in developing social emotional skills. Now, teachers are not just instructors, they are role models and facilitators of students' emotional and social development. Number one, if we talk about model. Now, model the empathy and positive communication. Main purpose is to students learn by observing how teachers respond to others. So speak respectfully to all students even when correcting behavior. Show understanding when a student struggles emotionally. So a student is upset after a poor test score. A teacher says, I see you, you are disappointed. Let's see what we can do to improve next time. Now here students learn empathy and calm communication. Number two is teacher's role to provide. Now, provide safe space for expression. The purpose is students need an environment where they can share feelings without fear of judgment. So, encourage students to share emotions in circle time or journals or validate the feelings. It's okay to feel frustrated. Everyone feels that sometimes. So during morning check-ins, if a shy student shares a feeling nervous, teacher thanks them for sharing and encourages peers to support them, where it builds trust, self-awareness, and social awareness. Number three is to encourage. Now, encourage reflection, discussion, and problem solving. Main purpose is to help students to think critically about their emotions and relationships. Now ask open-ended questions after a conflict or activity. Guide students to discuss alternative solutions and reflect on their behavior. For example, after a group disagreement, a teacher asks, how did this conflict start? What could each of you do differently next time? Students brainstorm solution and share the ideas. So where it develops responsible decision making and collaboration. Next is teachers' roles to celebrate. Celebrate emotional growth, not just academic success. Now, the main purpose is to reinforce the importance of social emotional learning alongside Academics. Now you can praise your students for teamwork, patience, or helping peers. Include emotional growth in classroom, feedback, and portfolios. For example, oh, I noticed how you comforted your friend when they were sad. That was very kind and thoughtful. So it encourages empathy, self-confidence, and positive behavior. Next is CBSE and NEP 2020 alignment. Now, when we talk about the alignment CBSE, the focus area will be life skills, value education, co-scholastic development. For example, if we say life skill, so during a group project, student learn communication and teamwork and problem solving. Value education, when we say role plays on honesty or empathy, helps students to understand ethical behavior. Or you can say co-scholastic development, participation in circle time, peer feedback, or art projects strengthen the emotional intelligence and social awareness. Next is NEP 2020 alignment. Now, the main focus area is holistic development, that comes cognitive, emotional, social, and physical. 21st century skill, again, collaboration, communication, critical thinking, creativity. Next is emotional intelligence. Now, if we take the examples for each one of them, holistic development means morning check-ins to help the students reflect on feelings, supporting emotional growth alongside of academic. Now, when we talk about 21st century skills, collaborate the projects and group discussions, develop teamwork and problem solving. Here comes to the emotional intelligence. Storytelling or a reflection times help students to recognize and manage their emotions. Next is conclusion. Now, when we talk about conclusion, conclusion means classroom activities such as circle time, role plays, collaborative projects, and journaling can build social emotional skills without adding extra workload. So I would say embedding SES in regular teaching aligns with CBSE's co-scholastic focus and NEP 2020 vision of holistic education, preparing the students for life, not just the exams. Let's talk about some key takeaways. Now, SES is critical for overall child development. Now, here, social emotional skills help students to manage emotions, develop relationships, and make responsibility. For example, if we say a student who practices self-regulation and coping strategies during stressful situations perform better academically and participates more confidently in class activities. Number two, we talk about activities should be routine, inclusive, and reflective, which means SES develops the best integrated into daily classroom practices rather than occasional sessions. Activities should include all students and encourage reflection. Number three is teachers are role models and facilitators, where students learn social emotional skills by observing teachers' behavior, communication, and responses to conflict. Number four, NEP 2020 and CBSE framework encourages this integration. Both NEP 2020 and CBSE emphasize holistic education, life skills, and students' well-being. So integrating SES aligns classroom practices with national education goals. Thank you everyone for listening me today. When SES is integrated into everyday's teaching, it nurtures not only smarter students but also emotionally resilient, empathetic, and socially responsible individuals. Thank you once again. Have a nice day.